True, but it's interesting because you talked about selling anything. One of the biggest winners up until not long ago is Apple. It had a good session today. It was up 3% ahead of this big event tomorrow in San Francisco. The tech giant's going to unveil upgrades, probably major upgrades to the iPhone, iPad. But not all these tech names are doing well. Netflix continues to get pummeled there. And so here's the question. We're talking about a potential tech wreck. Will tomorrow's event with Apple bring back not only swagger for Apple, but will it help the technology stocks sort of regain that groove that they lost there? What do you think?
You know, I actually think Apple actually looks inexpensive to me right now.
Apple always looks inexpensive from a traditional valuation point of view, right? The PE has never been outrageous. The price of sales, price of book.
You know, I tried to get to the Genius Bar. You got to wait till tomorrow or a 3-hour wait. My friends who had the other gizmos, even some BlackBerry, are moving to the Apple. I think we're going to see a nice, not the wow factor, but I think tomorrow they've got some important things to talk about. And when I think about other tech companies, to me, Netflix is now facing some serious competition. And Apple's being one of them.
It could, tomorrow's product launch thing could send this market soaring. Because remember, Apple's your largest component of the S&P, largest in the NASDAQ, one of the most influential in the Dow. If people like what they hear and think it's going to be all about those iPhones, then that could...
You know what I find ironic, too, though, guys, because it's not uncommon for Apple stock to waffle a little bit before one of these events. But historically, I mean, you go way back. Every time that's happened, it's ended up being a major buying opportunity. And maybe the tell this time wasn't Apple, but it could have been NXPI. It could have been Skyworks. It could have been Avago. Those stocks soared, particularly midday. I don't know what happened because they were sort of like Apple, just languishing a little bit. Then they took off like rockets. And to your point, David, listen, I know at some point the competition will catch up. I know to a certain degree Apple's cannibalizing itself. But the hunch to say let's give up on this stock, which has been a world beater for a long time, on the hunch that it's over with has been a mistake so far.
I agree with that. And remember, this stock is down about 20% from its all-time highs. As Jim just said, the stock is cheap, and there's a lot of levers they can pull if they want to push that stock price up.
I think they have a portfolio of dominant, really interesting companies and products and services that I don't think is rivaled anywhere else. So I'm surprised people have turned on Apple as much as they have.
Apple takes off tomorrow. That has the coattails to take tech with it?
Absolutely.
Mathematically, of course, it's more than 10% of the whole tech sector.
I don't necessarily agree with Jim that it's over for Netflix. I think they might have gotten too cute with that Epics thing, and they let that go, and Hulu picked them up, and I know Apple's coming in. But, you know, they're not on in Asia yet. They're going to click on there. They're building like crazy in Europe. I think they've got an amazing head start. This is a stock that comes back. Now, it's at $94 when they had that huge quarter. The stock was at $96. I think it's oversold here, and I think the narrative has gotten ahead of the story. What do you think, David?
Well, it's definitely oversold, but I would worry anytime my stock was at about $94 a share and only going to earn about 44 cents. Plus, I think more importantly, who wants Jeff Bezos, going right after you? And they're going to come up with their Amazon pipeline, and it's going to be difficult.
I'm glad you mentioned Bezos, because I'm telling you, while I love being a Netflix customer, Amazon's getting a lot of use in my house right now, and I hear a lot about them.
Really?
And their Prime service and their ability to deliver streaming, and they're developing content.
Before I let you go, is there a point on the downside for the Dow or S&P that people should start to really, really worry? I'm looking at this 16,000 and the Dow being something as solid support. It held last week, and it looks pretty good to me right now. Anything like that? Any number that you guys might be looking at that sort of says, okay, I want to go back to the drawing board?
I wouldn't put a specific number up, but I would tell you that my conviction over the last 2 weeks was a little tested. But I was happy to see every time there was a major downshift, investors did keep coming in.
I knew it was tested because I didn't want to say anything, but I noticed you lost a little bit more hair since the last time I saw you.
No back cameras.
All right, guys.